myself. I'm putting pants back on.
Okay.
All right. Welcome, everyone, to Tales from the Mist. I am your humble dungeon master and storyteller, Sean Nelson. And these people around me are going to be helping me tell this story. So we can go around table, introduce yourselves and the names of your characters, and see if we can get this story going.
Okay. I'll start just for the hell of it. Okay. I am Brian Kynes. Super glad to be here. Happy Halloween, everybody. I am going to be playing the large, what appears to be a half-orc, almost like an executioner type style-looking character called Grayson Thodemeyer, with dark gray skin and a deep, ugly accent. He stands about, I think I'd probably stand about 7 foot tall. And that's enough about me for now.
Okay, Jeremy, go ahead.
I'll be playing the part of Wilgrim, a Leonin divine soul sorcerer, who, if there's a book, he's read it, and if he hasn't, he's thought of it.
Colby.
I'll be playing Beta, who is a Warforged artificer, and if he's been part of a battle, he's been there.
Okay, and Danny.
I'll be playing Raced. He's actually a wizard that acts pretty goofy. He'll be running around but it's kind of an act, as you'll see later on.
All right, so now that we're all ready and prepared, let us get into the Tales of the Mist, the Curse of the Cornfield. You all have been going about your days on your daily errands, so to speak, having your banter back and forth. You come across a kind of a display board that has all sorts of postings of jobs and wanted signs and help me find me this person. You each stop and take a look at it in your respective towns. One in particular seems to be of very interest to most of you. I can go ahead and roll a perception check from all of you.
Danny, I'll let you handle you and I, and you can have advantage since I'm there helping you look at this thing. You are the brains.
Here we go. Internet. Perception. Oh, I get advantage because you're helping. 22.
Okay. Jeremy, Colby.
15.
15.
16.
16. Colby and Danny, of your respective groups, you are the first to read it over. It talks about a help wanted advertisement. Help wanted. Ovana Farm. Search for missing parents. 10 gold apiece to anyone who would help investigate. If interested, please take this flyer to, and as you see it, you see that it's kind of a worn out poster. It's been there for quite a long time. And the location is somewhat near where you guys are currently standing, wherever that may be. It seems to be just 2 blocks down. As you take the notice and continue walking 2 blocks, a soft mist starts to appear around you. As you continue walking down, the mist tends to open up as you find yourself on a cobblestone road. It's well worn and well traveled. First, you seem to pass other travelers as they're coming back up and down. Off in the distance, you see farmhouses and other such buildings until you come across an inn. This inn is called the Cow and Balance. Inside is a tavern. What do you do?
Looks up to his half-orc buddy and he's like, hey, I've got a feeling this is going to be a little different than our normal. But he reaches down and takes a drink of something. And he goes, just in case, I'll be ready to sell our services.
I understand. I don't remember this part of town before. Where are we?
Go and make a history check, Brian.
Oh. Hold on.
That's okay.
17
Okay, not bad.
for Grayson.
Right. You look around and you were once in a very vast, sprawling city, and now you're not. In what seems to be less than 5 minutes of walking, you get a sense that you're no longer in Kansas anymore. You're no longer in the city of Ravens.
I would look over at Raced. Sorry, with an A, correct? Raced?
Mhm.
Okay. And I'd be like, did you do this? Is this one of your meddlings again?
No, it's not me.
Best be on our guard. And he stands up
As-
awkwardly close beside you.
Wilgrim and Beta, you too have encountered the same thing. This mysterious note asking you to come to Ovana Farm, and within a few blocks of this giant mechanized city that you've been in, all of a sudden fades into this dark countryside with cobblestone roads and buildings, far removed from the city that you used to be in.
Are any of the patrons of the tavern familiar?
Make a perception check.
10.
10. As far as you're concerned, no one is familiar, but everyone seems to be cowering as soon as you walk in.
And was it established that Wilgrim and Beta know each other? Or are they separate?
Do you know each other?
What do you think, Colby?
Probably not.
Okay.
So Wilgrim just kind of standing there, peeking around, having similar thoughts to what they had. Is kind of I do seem to recall this place.
Raced and Grayson, you look around and you see a Felidae? Maybe. Although he's a lot bigger than normal.
We're talking like still medium size, or are we talking like a lot bigger than normal?
Well, you're used to Felidaes being more slender and sleek. This one has a little more musculature to him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Beta, you see the same thing. Also, you notice that people are cowering as you walk toward this tavern. People are muttering and whispering and getting clear of you as you walk through. What do you...
With that, seeing this large Felidae, are we thinking like 10, 15 foot up ahead of us on the road or beside us? Or I'm just curious for theatrics.
Yeah, about 10, 15 feet ahead of you.
With that, I would put myself between this large, roided up field day as far as I'm concerned, and put myself in between. And I would look over at racing, and I would say in a condescending tone, sometimes it's just cool the size of everyone, around. And I looked down at him sarcastically. As I would look back, it's like, do you think he's local?
Well, we're not. Or sorry, we're not.
Okay.
With that, I'd be like, hey, you. And I would call him out, Philaday. It's like, you're from around here.
Jeremy, you have no idea what a field day is. You
So
assume he's talking to you.
he just a big walking stick in hand. He kind of looks around. Then he turns to see. You talking to me?
He just nods. When you turn towards him, he has a glaive that he uses as a walking stick as well. He's about 7 foot tall, and the edge of that blade is every bit of like 8.5 foot up. It's big. It's a long, looks like an executioner's glaive practically. But he's not holding it in a threatening way. He's just using it in a similar way that you're using yours, Jeremy. And he would just give you a long look, and he goes, "Where are you headed?" And his voice cracks a little bit.
On the flyer.
Can I do perception, see if it's the same one we have?
Sure.
Okay. I've got to stop reaching for my dice and start reaching for this mouse.
Colby, I want to say
19!
you're about 10 feet away from this as well.
Okay, 19, sir.
19. You look over the paper. It definitely seems to be the similar material, although for some reason, there's no words on his paper.
I think you've grabbed the wrong one. That one's blank.
I look down at ours.
Make a perception check.
$11.
Yours is also blank.
I'd like to do a may I see yours?
He kind of looks at the two curiously, but approaches them, hands him his flyer.
I would stand back to make sure he feels comfortable walking up.
And I'll say if you guys are outside, there's a nice crowd forming around you folks, as 3 of you are people they've never seen before.
I look at I look at both of them and do an investigation check to see if they're the same.
Okay, do an investigation check.
A 13.
13, okay. You're looking at the paper and seems to be made of the same material. They're both aged similarly. But yeah, both are blank.
I'd look down to say to Race to be like, are you sure you're not the one doing this? Do not lie to me again.
He looks and notices the other guy standing there, and he's like, he takes a sip of that tea or that flask he has, and he's like, it is not I. And for everybody looking at him, he looks like he just looks like an elven archer or ranger. His bow sticks up. He has a cloak on, but his head is out. He's not wearing the traditional robes of a wizard.
Okay.
Okay. Well, as you all stand there making this huge crowd, a woman pushes through the crowd. She comes out of the tavern that you previously, and kind of in an authoritative manner, it's like, what's all the fuss going on right here? What's going on? Who are you three? Who are you for?
I'd like to know the same.
I'll look around. Do I notice this Warforged, this construct like character looking at us as well?
Yeah, you don't have to roll for it. You see him. He's standing there behind you, silently, creepily.
Okay. That's what I was getting at.
Yeah.
As I look over my corner and stuff, I even take another awkward step, and Danny, at this point, my character's clothes are touching your clothes, and you can actually feel me breathing as I'm kind of standing over top of you, just kind of looking left and right. And I'd be like, we need to get somewhere that we're familiar with.
He just kind of nods.
When Brian saw my character like behind him, I want to say my character was like looking around to the crowd, like because like he's been in so many battles that he doesn't really like being in big crowds, so he's making sure to like no surprises can happen.
Okay, make a perception check for me.
9.
Yeah, this crowd of people, I mean, you've seen humanoids before, and these don't look very threatening. There just seem to be simple folk, farmers, in this small village area. But you do notice the woman that came out of the tavern. I believe I call it the Cowan scales. So she's asking you, what are you doing out here? You're not from around here. What's going on?
And does she seem to be singling out the Warforged character?
She's addressing all four of you because while someone like Raced is pretty common in this area, the other three of you aren't so much.
Yeah, right.
It's the damnedest thing. I found a flyer. It tells me to come here. And now the flyer's blank.
A flyer, you say?
Why?
Race holds both out.
I'll put mine out as well.
Looking at Colby's one is also blank. These seem to be blank pieces of paper, but come inside. You guys are causing quite a stir, and these people have never seen you before.
I'm just curious, Sean, as I look around when you mention that, it finally starts to soak in. If you don't mind, give me just a basic description of the wear and the look of the people around us. Is this like Transylvania? Is this Yugoslavian? Are these guys?
So these people
on?
Just think like medieval like peasant people that have like never seen like a gas lamp before.
I'm with you. Okay.
One minor disturbance away from a torch and pitchfork, right?
right.
The Monty Python ain't got shit all over him. Yeah, I get it. Okay.
Yeah. So as this woman leads you into a tavern that she owns, you see there are some people that are just in awe and shock, and people, and she rushes you to a back room, sort of. She sits you all down. Sorry?
I was looking around at the people staring at us like, mind your drinks.
They instantly just like cowered. One might have wet himself.
Race would take a sip and be like, easy, fellas, easy. Listen, who we have here is Grayson. The mighty. We've come to solve this problem of, and he says, the farmer?
Ovana Farms.
Ovana Farms.
As soon as you say that, like any noise just goes silent, and people like look at you strangely.
I would say comically, oh, they seem to know that place.
The woman
with a magical flyer, they requested our services. Us specifically, I believe.
Thelma said, just come quickly into the back. Come quickly in the back. I'll explain everything to you.
Sean can't even get us through a hallway. He's like, come on, you bastard.
So as you guys enter this back room, the woman sits you guys down and places some drinks in front of you. She has a couple of wines and a few ales, whichever you'd prefer. So she sets that down in front of you. She's like, okay, well, first of all, I just want to say, I don't know where those flyers came from.
From a
I
notice
did not
board.
post. I'm sorry?
From a notice board.
I would assume that's where flyers are posted, but I didn't post those flyers. I don't know where these flyers are popping up and why they keep popping up. But
when it says keep passing up, can we do an insight check to see if we think she's lying?
Yep, go ahead, roll an insight check.
Well, don't think he knows crap. He's got a 6.
Good Lord.
Oh, as far as you're concerned, she's telling you the God's honest truth. She doesn't know why these things keep popping up.
It doesn't matter to my character. I just trust what Danny says.
Beta, same thing. You're getting the read. She doesn't know why these things are popping up, but they've popped up before, just based off a small conversation with her. And so, of anybody, she's used to seeing a lot more different faces come up other than these humanoids that usually pop around. So she says, well, since you're here and God knows why, I'll just tell you what I've told everyone else. Stay away from Havana Farms. It's quite dangerous. You see, about 20 years ago, a family friend of mine, Sybil, she came here one night and she was quite distressed. I think her parents were having a fight or something, and she decided to get out of the house for just one night. And it was terribly raining that night. It was quite dark, and she decided we said it was best to stay the night. And the next morning, when she went back home, her parents were gone, and this darkness poured over her family's farm. Since she hasn't been back to that farm since. She doesn't really know what happened to her parents. And well, since you're here, would you do me a favor and find out if you can?
I would look down at Raced and I would say, in a very whispered tone, what do you think about the gold? Do we have time for this?
He looks and he starts to pick his drink up that he drinks before he starts to sell something, and he just kind of puts it down and he goes, I don't really think that we have an option.
By the way, I'm just curious. I want to make a point, and Sean, if it's okay with you.
Sure.
I would like for, if Wilgrim and Beta would make perception checks, please. Just tell me what you get randomly, because there's a point to be made here, and I don't think... Please do that. Let me know what you get, just for the hell of it.
Perception?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead, roll perception rolls.
Nat one.
Nat
15,
one.
a 10, and a 6. Hopefully it gets better.
Okay, so you got a 10. Okay, Danny, I think your multiple voices are working just fine. So we do sound foreign, although our accents are changing every other sentence. It is it is working with you guys perfectly fine.
That is okay. It's totally believable. It's okay.
Oh, we're selling this shit like Kool-Aid in a parade, buddy.
Yeah, the funny part is he's decided it's not worth selling that part because the gold's already set. He's like, yeah, I'm not gonna waste the voice mixture up on this.
Oh goodness. Okay, I just wanted to make a funny point at. Please, I'm sorry, Sean.
No worries. So she offers that to you, and she tells you that the price. She said she was willing to pay 10 gold apiece to each of you to investigate this farm and find out what happened to Sybil's parents.
I do love trying to figure out a mystery.
Then it is agreed then? Are you all going?
So he looks and he goes, how do I know that you have 50 gold?
It's 10 gold apiece, darling. That means it's 10 gold for you, 10 gold for him, 10 gold for him, and 10 gold for that thing.
Exactly. 50.
Make a persuasion check with disadvantage.
He's trying to make sure she has enough to pay them all.
Yeah. Make a persuasion check.
Persuasion. Where is that? Performance persuasion. Looks like 8.
Okay. She's like, yes, of course. I wouldn't give you 10 gold apiece if I didn't have the money to afford it. I did more than just run a tavern in my past. Anyway. Well, when you decide to go, please, here's a map to the location. She hands one of you a map to the location.
I would take it quickly from her hand before Raced has a chance to reach out and grab it. I would grab it, and I would look at it, and I would smell it. And I would slowly hand it down to Raced. Push it into his chest with an uncomfortable thud that would probably push him back like half a step. I would just nod.
Okay. Well, you folks can stay here with these drinks. They're on the house, just this one round. Anything more, you'll pay.
Is she drinking as well?
No, she has to go back to the front and run her tavern. And that's what she does. She leaves the room and tends to the tavern in the front.
I would say under my breath down below to Race. So what are you thinking? Can we follow that map? Do you believe you could find the X, so to speak?
He would roll it out and let's do an investigation check, I guess.
Sure. And Wilgrim and Colby, if you want, you can help them out, or you can do your own investigation checks.
Oh my god. Is he helping with this investigation of the map?
Yeah, if that's what he wants to do.
Hermie's like, yeah.
All right, so
my character's mainly seeing a battle map, not a
yeah, the 13 is the best I can do.
That's okay. All right, so looking over the map, you look at the map is actually fairly rudimentary. It shows basic shapes and whatnot. There's one shape that has the letters C and S next to it, and you assume that's the tavern you're in. And that shows fairly some streets, and then just a arrow that kind of leads you in the direction to where the Ovana farm is located.
He looks to the others, other than Grayson, and he's like, I assume that you're not from here as well.
Nope.
Then I say it's best that we forget this staying the night and head out now.
That would be best.
The sooner we can figure this out and get back to our homes, the better. The 10 gold is minute in comparison. Being what he is, does he know that they're not in the same realm even?
Make a...
Because magic, arcana, all that would feel different.
Make a...
Lost puppy check.
No. Go ahead and make an arcana check. Make an arcana check.
Can I get on that as well?
Yes, of course.
15.
All right.
Can I do it as well, since my character can cast spells as well?
Yes, of course. Anybody who wants to make an arcana check. Yeah.
I don't need to. That's what I've got raced for.
Okay. You don't know exactly what has brought you here. That kind of power is beyond your current comprehension of magic. But you do know you're no longer for raced and it's the other one. Grayson, you do know you're no longer in Ulran. And Wilgrim, you and Beta can kind of conjecture you both are no longer in Eberron. But where exactly, you don't know.
Yeah, Race would make a point of, that they're on probably a different plane or something of that nature, and that's not his specialty, so he's not sure. But he knows that things feel different.
Right. Okay, so do you guys plan to head out now? Do you guys want to take a moment or two in the tavern? What do you guys want to do from here?
Be best to get out of here before the crowd of oddities decides to circle us again.
As Wilgrim says that, go ahead, Colby. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Beta would say like something like, "I agree."
Okay. You would see Grayson mixing the wine and the ale together in the background, like just kind of mixing the drinks. It's like as he doesn't take his eyes off of the stream going back and forth, he speaks as his eyes are kind of focused on it. He goes, I don't know. Maybe we should at least check it out for maybe, say, 5, 10, 15 minutes or something. I mean, she was nice enough to give us something to drink. And he's just pouring the things back and forth in each hour, and he takes a mouthful of it, and he's like, swallows it down, and gets to looking at another one. That's what
Grayson, you can take those with you. And he looks to those two, and he says,
take the mug. I'm no thief. I don't take people's cutlery. Hold on. Constitution check. I'm going to try to slam it.
Sure.
And let's put the fucking dice down and roll on the sheet. Good Lord. Old dog, new trick, sir. Goodness gracious.
It's all right. I was writing this character. I was over here licking the window in between it. Like, how do I do it?
A 10.
A 10. You managed to down it. You managed to swallow it, and nothing happens for now.
Right, and that's fair. As I put down a combination of ale and wine both, and wipe my mouth off, with a little bit of sorrow, a little bit of a tear in my eye. I would have liked to enjoy this a bit more. I kind of nod, and I sit the cups down, kind of nice, and position them 3 or 4 times like a person of OCD, just kind of. And he leaves him and goes, okay, I'm good. And he kind of puts his head down like a whipped puppy.
So with that, he says, Race would say, I know what he's capable of. What is your specialties?
Reading. Knowledge. Being old.
War tactics.
What's he say?
War tactics.
If it should come to combat, then I suggest that Wilgrim and I will stay in the back. And
right idea.
Do your thing.
With that, I would walk over to Wilgrim. And at 7 foot tall, am I still quite a bit taller than your character, Jeremy?
Yeah, hunched over, he's still 6 foot.
Okay. As he does, he walks over and he's awkwardly close. And he kind of looks down. And he goes, the back row it is then for you. It's as if you need me to step to the side. In case you have a firebolt or something you like to cast around. Just give me a kick or a nudge. I understand war tactics. Gives you a nod.
Why do you smell like beef?
Why don't you?
It's been some time since I've had beef.
And he looks down to Raced. It's like, and he says in a strangely passive voice, "Do we have any extra beef?"
I guess what would I roll?
You have some extra beef.
Okay.
You should give it.
Ooh, there's the rail.
He gives you the thumbs up, and he reaches in he actually tells you to turn around. Motions for you to turn around, and
Me?
yeah, which he's tall for an elf at 5'10", but he reaches up into his pack and gets the supplies because he's an elf. He's not going to carry all that.
Turn around now.
Race reaches in and grabs some of the dried beef, I guess, and he says, "Is this what you want?" And he hands it back to you, Grayson.
Oh, he turns back around to see that you have dried beef. Once again, he thinks it's an arcane miracle. As he sticks his hand out and takes said beef and looks at it, and he just kind of sticks that big hand out. And when he does, Wilgrim, you would see that his hands, he's gray-skinned. He has large muscular hands with clawed fingernails. And he has this chunk of dried beef in his hand, and he nudges you in the chest with it, and he kind of sticks it up into your face awkwardly, and he's like, "Huh?"
As he does that, lightning cracks outside, and you hear the loud cawing of a raven as it starts to rain.
Sounds like our sign to go.
Do you take the beef?
Yeah, he'll grab the beef.
Okay.
There's the beef.
He's just like, "Hey,"
Just takes the beef and just go ahead and just.
Make a Constitution saving throw.
Away.
Make a Constitution saving throw.
16.
All right, cool. It tastes great.
That wasn't sarcastic at all. It's fantastic. Oh, yeah. Oh.
All right, so you guys making your way out?
I'm following.
Yeah, as soon as Beta does, he pulls up his hood.
All right. So as you guys are leaving the tavern and walking, the rain is starting to come down a little heavier now. It started off as a light drizzle, but as you exit the village that you were currently in and you walk along this path, following the map as best you can, you see that the people get scarcer and scarcer as you're walking further and closer. After about 30 minutes to an hour of travel, you find yourselves like completely alone, just the four of you on the road. The rain's coming down a little harder now. And as you look up, what faint light that comes periodically poking through the clouds is you see a tiny silhouette of a farmstead and a huge cornfield right in front of it. And it grows bigger and bigger as you guys get closer and closer to the Havana farmstead. And then you arrive.
I would like to, as we stepped out of the bar, it's a control spell, but I'm going to see if I can use shape water to kind of keep the rain off of me. Maybe use that cantrip a little bit differently.
Yeah, easy enough. Kind of like in Avatar, The Last Airbender, where Korra kind of puts her hand up, kind of makes the water go around her. So yeah, that's easy enough to do.
I can do a 5 foot
area. Does this seem like the time of year where the corn would already have been harvested, or is it just kind of, is it they're out of season, or is it a normal site right here at this point?
No, this is very out of season. In fact, this corn, make a perception check on the cornfield.
While he's doing that, can you guys hear the light rain in the background? I'll turn it up if you can.
I can hear it.
Okay.
That was almost a 20, and it's just like, no. 4.
Okay. It's not hard to tell if corn is good or bad or should have been harvested because it's corn. But
Good or bad?
you're looking at this corn and
That's
you
awesome.
get a sense that for as long as you've known that this place has been abandoned, which you're told for 20 years, this corn looks oddly healthy, but hasn't been harvested.
As we are walking, I would like to walk over to Beta. And Beta, you would notice that I have this large, almost like a poncho-like kind of cloak that usually hangs off of me. It's quite large. And in just a moment, because you know how sometimes when you wear a hood, you kind of get tunnel vision, which is what you have on currently. You would notice that the rain kind of stops around you for a minute, and as you would look around, you would see that I've reached my arm out over top of you and tried to drape and shield some of that from getting onto you. And he looks at you, and when you do come around to noticing this, however quick that is, he would say in a very hushed, heavy tone, it's like, "You're made of metal, right?"
Yes.
Wouldn't want you to lock up out here. Got a lot to do.
Okay.
And he's keeping the rain shaded off of you like the best he can as we're walking out this way.
Yeah. You hear crows and ravens flying above you. As you approach as you guys are coming closer and closer to the cornfield, go ahead and make a group perception check.
A group deception check?
Perception check.
Okay, I was like, I'm not trying to fool anyone. Can I just assist Danny? Because that's how I do things.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, Danny, you got this, buddy.
Got a 10. You just see Wilgrim kind of just sauntering in the rain. It's like, "Oh, good thing for the rain. I needed a bath."
Watch this beef smell off me.
All right. Race, you're the first to notice it, but eventually Beta and Wilgrim also notice it. That upon coming up to the farmstead, you notice that the farmhouse is actually the very back of this huge cornfield, and the only way seems to get to this house is to go through the cornfield, as there's been obstructions that have cropped up around the outer edges. You also notice that in the distance you see, within the cornfield itself, you see two scarecrows kind of cat a corner to each other, diagonally, and just periodically ravens flying above the cornfield.
I say I'm a fan of the way this place looks. Something's strange.
Another lightning bolt streaks across the sky.
We'd best find some shelter before one of those finds us.
Okay, so right now, closest shelter to you is the farmhouse at the other end of the cornfield. What do you guys do?
Going to the farmhouse.
Okay, so you guys proceed through the cornfield. Okay, go ahead and I'm going to make a roll here real quick. Let me see if I can make a roll here. Will it let me make a roll here? Oh, it won't. All right, cool. Let me make a quick roll on something else. Okay, that'll be okay. As you guys are making your way through the cornfield, it's heavily raining. You hear the lightning crack, but as you get about maybe 20 or 30, about 20 feet into this cornfield, and this is a pretty big cornfield, the sound of the rain tends to slightly soften. It's not raining softer, but the sound kind of diminishes as you're getting there. I'm going to need, what's everyone's passive perception at again?
I have a, just a minute, sorry.
13.
I have 14.
13.
Passive.
13. So, okay. Grayson, your ears kind of twitch as you hear fast-paced rustling through the corn.
Okay, and is this between the? And I'm sorry if I didn't catch this. Is this between us and this shelter that we're looking to go to, or is this coming?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fast-paced shuffling. And one quick question: the corn is how tall?
Corn's about 10 feet. It's over you guys, so it's
Okay.
You can't see over it.
So other than hearing this, can I see a part in the corn? I am familiar with cornfields where I'm from. Do I see a part of something moving, or I just hear the rustling?
You hear the rustling. You can make a perception check then.
Yes, sir. I'll do this by myself, thank you. And I won't do it like that, I swear to God. 24!
Ooh, perfect.
Natural 20!
Yeah. As your ear twitches to the sound of the rustling, you immediately snap your head in its direction, and you swear you see something humanoid moving through the cornfield.
Okay. As that happens, I am going to sweep my arm down over top of Colby's character as it drapes and moves. I would want to stand in front of Raced, and I would like to cast something automatically. As this happens, I would like to cast Shield of Faith on Raced, which is my concentration, and it gives him a +2 to his armor class for the duration. As you would see a field of what looks like some kind of spiritual magic that gives a waiver to the actual visual effect, almost like gas fumes that seem to wrap and encompass him as like spirit shrouds. Okay, but it's Shield of Faith, not Spirit Shroud. That's kind of how it looks in my world. And
no worries.
With that, Danny, you're very familiar with this tactic that I have.
Yeah, how do we do that in D&D Beyond?
So you go to your character sheet, and then you would have it cast, and then just have him remind you that you have the Shield of Faith on you.
Okay, so you don't
so
just add it to your...
Yeah, it doesn't get added to yours. So he just casts it on you and just remind you that you have it.
And just take a little note, buddy.
Yeah.
You have +2 to armor class. And I stand in front of you with the glaive leaning outward. I don't say anything as Raced and Grayson have this communication, so the rest of you can kind of take from that what you want.
So yeah, Wilgrim and Beta, you guys see Grayson cast a spell and take a defensive position as his head snapped as if he's...
Wilgrim will immediately mage armor.
Okay. You see Wilgrim kind of tap himself, and as a shimmer of arcane energy comes over him. Beta, any reaction? Okay, Beta just... As you guys get the ready, you hear haunting laughter coming around from around you as crows start encircling over your head, and all of a sudden the cornfield shifts as a span opens up where you're at. And as you guys are standing there watching on two opposite sides of you come two scarecrows slowly advancing toward your position. I need everybody to roll initiative.
I didn't like the look of this place.
Need you guys go ahead and roll initiative.
Damn it. Okay. Hell yeah, right. Just like Bast, you always have to get the highest initiative, you pompous bastard. Well, I got a 16, so
I'm going last.
Okay, so let me get everybody's initiative roll. So it's got a 20. So Beta had a 2.
Damn it, Beta. I told you that rain was going to... I told you that rain was going to slow him down. I knew it would. I tried my best. I knew it would.
I don't think I could ever get out being last on initiative.
I know it, right? I know it. Hey, at least you didn't shoot your pet.
At least I don't have a pet.
So first up is Raced. What are you going to do?
I'm surprised.
I think he's going to fire his longbow.
Okay. Are you going to fire at the one to your right or the one to your left?
Which one
I
is?
would say they're about 30 feet out from you folks. So the
30
kind of the
feet.
corn kind of like spread out.
I'll fire to the one to the left.
Okay, go ahead and make an attack roll.
How's that?
That definitely hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
Swear to God, you bastard. No, we're on the same team. It's all good. What? What?
Okay.
He's cheating, Sean. Check his character sheet. He's cheating.
Oh well, it's fine. He's got it. That was quite a successful hit there.
Yeah.
However, let me see. Actually, so you did 18 damage. So as your arrow flies and sinks into this creature, you realize that the arrow might not have pierced as much as it did before. As much as it used to, anyway. Anything else?
I think that's all he has for now. Should have used his help.
Okay.
You think?
All right, so the scarecrow.
Yeah, with a free action, he'd be like, "They're magical."
Okay.
So, as you say that to everyone, the scarecrow that you just hit is now going to try and advance towards you and moves 30 feet closer. And he's going to go ahead and make he's going to make 2 claw attacks against you since you're the first one to hit it. So the first one is going to go. Is a 6, so that should miss, correct?
Yes.
And the second swipe.
Go ahead.
Second swipe is 16.
With the +2 I got, that still misses.
Okay. All right, so both claws match. You manage to deftly dodge, and as you go for that second swipe, you see that the reverberation of the shield of faith kind of reverberates off you and kind of makes the claw glint off of that. The second scarecrow, which is to everyone's right, is going to go ahead and stare at. Let's see. It's going to go ahead and stare at Grayson, and Grayson, I need you to give me a wisdom saving throw.
Okay.
Good thing Grayson's really wise.
Well, no. Is this a charm type base thing?
Yeah.
Because I have advantage on things like that because of my what I am.
Go ahead.
Okay.
I'll say this is one thing like that.
That's awesome. Well,
Never
mind. Doesn't matter. Shit. Hold on. I swear, maybe once after 3 hours of this, I will do this correctly. So I'm doing a saving throw, and this is which one?
Wisdom saving throw.
Wisdom. All right. I swear to God. So I'll roll this twice, correct?
Yep.
Okay, that one's shit. Or bullocks. Sorry.
And you're rolling at disadvantage. Or advantage, yeah. You're rolling
advantage,
yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try to roll again. Okay, that one's much better. That's a 17.
Okay. As the one to the right comes around into view, it stares at you, and this one is different than the other. This one has more of a like decomposed pumpkin head that's just staring at you. It's just glaring you down. And as you stare back at it, you kind of feel like this terrifying just energy trying to come out of it, but you just will it away, and it breaks contact with you, and it kind of twists its face into like a gnarled smile as it gets ready to close the distance.
As that happens, I shake it off, I would look down at Race and I'd be like, I don't like this. And he faces off and he says, what are you looking at? He stares back at him kind of cruelly as he holds his position in front of Race.
All right, and with that, Grayson, it is your turn.
Okay. The one that just attacked raced.
Right.
Can I and mind you, I know it's theater of mind, I'm trying just, to be with this. So can I position myself to where I could possibly be flanking this creature where it'd be between us two? Or do you want me to
No, that would take about maybe 15 to 20 feet of movement to get behind it.
Okay. Well, let's just say I do that.
Okay.
And as I do, The Shield of Faith has worked at this point, but I'm going to concentrate and maintain that. Being a paladin of level 2, I got to keep what I got to keep.
Sure.
So let me look at something really quick, and then I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Okay.
Okay. Just while he's doing that, Wilgrim, you're on deck, and Beta, you're after that. So
Smart. Okay, let's go ahead and just go. Let's keep this simple.
Pumpkins
Okay.
on their heads are carved pumpkins, right?
sorry.
The pumpkins on their head, they're carved pumpkins, like jack-o'-lanterns.
The one that attacked Race seems to look like a regular scarecrow. The one that is on the one that tried to stare down Grayson has the one with the rotting pumpkin on it.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and make a mighty swipe with my glaive, which I have named Last Rites. As he raises the glaive up into the air, he swings wide at the back of the creature.
Okay. So you roll that at advantage. You are flanking.
Yes, sir. Let me go ahead and roll this and see how we do. Okay, first. Well, that didn't tell me. Okay, that's wrong. Hold on. It's 10 slashing damage. Now we got to roll and see if I hit or not. Sorry. Yeah, because that's, important and stuff. Okay, the first one was 11 because I'm awesome. And the second one is a 26.
Okay.
And this is good news. And I'll tell you why this is good news. Because as he's pissed off, and that's a crit, right?
Right, that is a crit.
What's great about my lineage is I get to roll 1 extra damage dice of the weapon type when I do critical attacks.
Okay.
Okay. So, what's crazy is how do you want to do this, Sean? Because
so roll your extra die, and then you're going to double the dice and add your modifiers to it.
Okay. I'm just going to do my little dice down here in the corner. So I had 10 to begin with, which was so I rolled a 6 on the D10.
Okay.
That one's in the bank. Okay, I'm going to roll just a basic D10 down here. Right here. Did it roll?
There's also a dice roller in the.
That's what it's on the left. I clicked it. Yeah. Oh, let's go. No, hold on. One more time. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, go ahead.
To everyone. Okay, 3. Woo.
Okay, so that's 6 double 12. That's another 6 for the 3 double. That's 18 plus 4. That's 22 points of damage.
That's awesome. That's what I'm talking. Thank you,
so
Sean.
Yeah, you're welcome. So as Grayson just full on raises his glaive and spikes into it, just this pure force of just rage and care about his friend that's being attacked. He brings his glaive down, and for a moment you see like it just kind of it looks like it wants to push away the glaive, but then the glaive kind of like really runs through the entire scarecrow, taking a huge chunk of life out of this thing. In fact, so much so you've actually cut it in half, and you have reduced its walking speed to 0.
Awesome. That's the only thing I have.
Yeah,
at this point.
I'll say you've reduced its movement to 5 feet because it now has to crawl. It has no legs.
And as he runs the glaive through, thank you very much. That's awesome, Sean. He'd be like, "No more." And as he swipes it through like that, he looks over. He says, "Stay close." And that's it. That's the end of my turn. I'm going to stay there.
All right, Wilgrim, it is your turn.
Lucky 20.
So the first thing, if he's not already behind somebody, he's going to get behind somebody.
Okay. So let's say you're within 5 feet of Beta, so you can get behind him.
Yeah, frail and squishy.
Yeah.
So as he gets behind, he's going to look out in the cornfield to the one on the right. And he's going to study it for a moment.
Okay.
You're just going to see him shake his head, and he's going to pick up his staff and just launch a firebolt.
Firebolt? Okay, go ahead and roll an attack roll.
$18.
Ooh,
that hits. That hits. Go to
yeah.
roll damage.
9.
as you take out your staff and you summon a fireball and you launch it straight at this this scarecrow, it hits, and all of a sudden the hay and the burlap sack catches on fire and seems to do a considerable amount of damage to this one. You just said there was 9, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how you do it.
It's looking
Get
pretty
away.
beat up. It's looking pretty beat up with that one.
Jeremy,
Get
It
off
says it
my
starts to burn
lawn.
away.
get off my lawn.
All right, Beta, it is your turn.
Is there still 2 scarecrows left?
Yes, there are 2 scarecrows and they're looking fairly beat up.
Mine has no legs. You're welcome.
How far are they?
So the one that is on fire is currently 30 feet away from you folks, and then the one
So
that's
you
been
giving
chopped in. So the one that's been chopped in half is between Raced and Grayson. That's about 5 feet from your location, or 10 feet from your location. Yeah.
Just so I don't get burned, I might go to the one with no legs.
Okay.
Then I'm gonna use shocking grasp.
Okay. Go ahead and.
Touch attack.
All right, that is a hit. Go ahead and roll your damage. Okay, as you do this 3 damage to it, you see it chars it a little bit, but it's still crawling and grasping at the 3 people around it.
This poor damn thing.
It's a resilient creature. All right.
Oh,
All right. With that, we are back at the top of initiative with Raced. What are you going to do?
Let's see. So I got the one at my feet that's, how's it
Barely
looking?
hanging on.
And then
I would say you
one,
could probably step on it and probably kill it. Maybe.
and the other one, how's it look?
It's on fire right now, but it's still moving.
this scarecrow's on fire.
Well, knowing this one actually is next in the round, I think I should probably finish it.
Oh, you metagamer, you.
Well, yes, it is. It is right next to you. After all, it tried to attack you in the last turn. So
Yeah.
This one's at your feet going. He's like
I
trying to
will,
reach at
I
your
will
ankle.
shocking grasp as well.
okay, go ahead and roll the hit.
Just finish it with the old get on, get.
With a 9, you miss.
Even with it prone? Dang.
Yeah. As you reach out and kind of put it out of its misery, it kind of like and
Yeah,
moves
yeah,
out of the
yeah.
way and starts
Shock and
flying
awe.
towards you. Yeah. And with that, it's that scarecrow's turn, and it's going to try and swipe at you because it's still angry at you. So it gets 2 claw attacks. It's gonna. First one is 7.
Does it
This
have
is
disadvantage because it's prone, Sean?
I'm gonna say
This is a very long wait for a very simple request. This is making he's making
I'll
us
say
sweat.
it's a disadvantage, so it's trying to like cross. So
Does that mean I had advantage on it?
Metagamer.
yeah, go ahead, roll advantage. Let's see if you hit it. See if you hit it second time. This one's on its last leg. So yeah, go ahead. Roll again, see if you hit. Boom, there you hit, and you killed it. Don't even roll damage. It's got
Aren't
like 1
you
HP
lucky?
left. It's got like 2 HP left. So yeah, you killed it. You just shocked the shit out of it, and it kind of like chars. And but the thing is, as you do that, you kind of, for about a moment, you see this entity evaporate out of it, and in a womanly voice, you hear her say, "Thank you," as she fades away.
Just for shock and awe,
Yeah.
because it's raining so heavily, does Race take any of that shocking grasp damage back to himself?
Make a Constitution saving throw.
Make a what saving throw?
Constitution saving throw.
Happy Halloween, motherfucker! Trick or treat, and you got tricked. Oh,
No, you didn't take any damage from that. You're well versed in the arcane arts to know that you can not shock yourself in the rain. All right, so that second scarecrow is going to go, and seeing that this sorcerer launched a fireball at it, it's going to charge the 30 feet to get to said sorcerer and take 2 claw attacks on it. And it's on fire. So right now it's going to take 1d4 fire damage because it is on fire.
And I do hate to interrupt. I sincerely do.
Yeah.
With 10 foot of reach, do I get an opportunity attack since it's charging past all of us to swing?
No. This one is like this one is at an opposite end of the thing.
Okay,
So
and that's perfectly fine. I just wanted to throw it out there. Thank you, Sean.
Oh, and it is on fire, which it's this horrible sight to see that this thing is on fire with its pumpkin head and it's just melting, and it's like you can hear like screams, but it's not coming from the scarecrow. It's like this otherworldly scream that you hear, and it just comes charging at you. Wilgrim, and it's going to make a claw attack. So the first claw attack is a 19. Is that hit?
That hits.
Okay. So you go ahead and take 6 damage from that. And then it's going to make a second swipe at you. It's a 15 hit.
Meets or beats.
Okay, so go ahead and take another 6 points of slashing damage.
Damn it.
Okay.
Come closer.
All right, and with that, that is that scarecrow's turn. Grayson, it is your turn.
Okay, seeing that the one has been felled at our feet and is taken care of, I'd like to just say I'm whipping around, and I would notice that this one seems to be attacking Wilgrim.
Yeah.
I'd like to do a perception check just because he was so focused on raced, just to see if I noticed, him getting behind the Warforged, to kind of see his predicament. That'll help judge what I'm up to, okay?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. I'm going to put my dice down. I didn't roll it this time, but I did pick it up, and I'm going to roll a perception check. Is that okay with you? Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, boss. Thank you. With a natural 9...
you can assume that that's what he did. You've probably had Race do a similar tactic, but
Okay. I would like to, with that, I haven't had a reason to roll concentration again for his shield thing happening.
Yeah, so it's still up.
Okay. I would like to go over, rush towards the one that is attacking Wilgrim,
Okay.
and try to attack because I hate the smell of roast pumpkin.
Okay, go ahead. Make
Okay.
an attack roll.
With the glaive, I would like to get back by the back of the handle and make a long, wide swing as to not catch myself on fire in the act of swinging at this thing. All right, so last right's coming down. Let's roll the attack. Come on, baby. 16.
Hits. Roll damage.
Awesome, thank you. Dude, hell yeah,
Okay.
13 points of slashing damage.
As you bring it down, yes, this thing is on fire, and you hear these just otherworldly screams, but maybe that rage from before has subsided, because as you go and bring your glaive down, well, it does do a considerable amount of damage, and it does take this one's legs off. It's still like upright and trying to claw at whoever's around it.
Okay.
It's hanging in there, but only just.
I would say with my movement, I've used it all to get over there practically as I stormed over that direction.
You used about half your movement to get there.
That's fine. I would want to stand as close as I could to Wilgrim. And the thing is, I can say all these things all I want, but there's no mechanic for this. So just know
what
in
you
my
can
heart.
do is, as part of your movement, I'll say I'll allow you to push Wilgrim like 5 feet to the side if Wilgrim is will allow it.
I would like to do that. I would like to mom arm Wilgrim. You guys know what the mom arm is. You ever drove with your mom and she hits the brakes and puts that arm in front of you? I would like to try to mom arm.
He's not going to contest because as of right now, he looks terrible. Blood is matting up in his.
You know what?
Running off in the rain.
I don't think I can do a healing touch as a bonus action. I think it has to be my major action. I want to check that real quick just to see,
Of
and
course.
if not, then I'll be done with my turn, boss, and we'll move on.
Sure,
So
sure.
let's see. That would be under features and traits under class features. D&D Beyond, everybody. Lay on hands.
As an action.
As an action, yeah. So
Actually,
I'll get you. So my character's a free action. Would be like, hang in there, sorcerer. Help's coming. Any more marks? Okay.
All right. So Wilgrim, let's say you're going to be now 5 feet 5 feet away from where you currently were. Okay.
Am I still within melee range, or did he move me out of melee range?
That's up to you. Did he move you out of melee range?
Do you want to do contested strength check?
The reason I'm wondering is if he pushes me out of melee range, would the scarecrow have got an opportunity?
Oh, no. If he pushes you out of melee range, no, because you didn't willfully move out of the spot.
Yeah,
you were forced out of the spot.
Moving me out of melee range would have been absolutely non-contested at that point.
And with me, he might got against me, which is kind of my goal anyway.
No, because Wilgrim was forcefully moved out of his spot, you don't provoke an opportunity attack.
Okay, cool, Sean.
Yeah.
Works for me.
Okay, and Wilgrim, it is your turn.
All right, so backing up even further is Owl. Wilgrim's going to try to look and see if he can get a clear view on this thing.
Yes, it's 5 feet in front of you.
So how that? Just like trying to look around the towering figure of Grayson. How bad does this thing look?
It is on fire, and if he stays on fire, it'll probably die by its next turn.
All right, so
it is like it's just horrible watching this thing that's on fire just kind of continue to try and claw at whoever's in front of it.
Nightmare fuel.
Yeah.
All right. So I need it to roll a wisdom save.
Sure. Go ahead and roll a wisdom saving throw. Is this for your mage armor, yeah?
No, this is for Toll the Dead.
Oh, Toll the Dead. Okay, go ahead. Need it to roll a wisdom save. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Good. It gets a +0 to its wisdom. But it rolled a natural 20. It did roll a natural 20 in its wisdom save.
Shit.
Woo! I get 1.
Yeah, right on.
With a cantrip, it's not takes half, is it?
Yeah, no. It's either it fails or it takes no damage if it passes.
All right.
Do we all hear the bell go off too?
You hear a bell go off,
okay.
But you don't know who it tolls for.
Okay.
All right, and with that, do you have any other bonus action, anything like that, Wilgrim? Nope. Okay. So it's moving on to Beta.
Hurry up, close the door.
Okay, whose turn is it now, boss?
It's Beta. Beta, you're up. Race your own deck.
So how far is this away from me?
It's about 10 feet away from you. 10, 15 feet away from you.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with throwing my hand axe.
Okay, go ahead and roll an attack roll. Remind me, does a prone target have does somebody running a ranged attack have disadvantage against the prone target, right?
I think it does, unfortunately.
Okay, so this would be a ranged attack. So
I thought that was gonna be a natural 1. Holy, it's a 10.
An attack roll against a creature has advantage if the attacker is within 5 feet of the creature. Otherwise, with disadvantage.
Yeah. So that you said you're throwing the hand axe, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So they roll that at disadvantage, please.
And you rolled a 10 on the first one, and that one's a 14. Okay. So 10's what you got.
So as you throw the hand axe, it whizzes right through the scarecrow and it lands right on the side of the scarecrow. You just missed the armor class of it. Just missed. You still have your movement and your bonus action if you want.
I think I'm gonna move to recollect my hand axe.
Okay. All right. So you move to get back your hand axe. All right. Race, it is your turn.
All right, let's see. How far away is he?
From your position, he's about 10, 15 feet away.
All right,
But
10, 15
just
feet away.
you do have Grayson and Beta that are kind of standing right next to it.
And he's on fire, looks pretty rough.
Yeah, he's on fire, look rough. He's probably going to burn out by the end of his next turn.
Unfortunately, the only thing I've got ranged that I can burn as a cantrip is a frostbite spell.
Okay. You can try.
All right.
Sean, I have seen you smile more in this game than I have in the last year and a half I've known you. This is fantastic. Go ahead.
Go ahead and roll your attack.
I'm actually trying to see how the attack roll works. Oh, it's just on a failed save. So
okay, so what's the save?
Constitution 14.
Ooh, perfect. He gets a +0. And he makes a 13, so he fails.
You put out the fire. Congratulations.
Yes, you've put out the fire. You've successfully put out the fire, and for some reason, it's still just clawing along. It's holding on for dear life, as if it wants to tell you some great secret that it's holding. And do you have anything else?
No.
No?
Nope.
Okay. With that, the Scarecrow is going to turn to Grayson and is going to, since you're the one that hit it with the big glaive, is going to take 2 swipes against you. It's fine. It's as if its only driving force is to fight. So that's
you
a 19.
Should be on fire.
That's a 19 on the first attack.
That hits.
All right, go ahead and take 6 points of slashing damage.
I will.
And then it's going to go ahead and do a second hit, which is a total of 20 to hit.
That hits.
You take another 6 points of slashing damage.
Ooh.
Okay.
I am bloodied.
All right. It is your turn, Grayson.
Okay, is he still prone?
Yes, he is still prone, and you do have advantage because you are within 5 feet of it.
Okay. He would erupt in an enraged thing as he was on fire at one point. Now the frost has came in. I can see it making this rotten pumpkin head almost brittle. And he says, "Enough! Go back to the hells with you." And he holds up this thing like this, and he's going to come straight down with a double-handed spear into this sucker, just driving it into the earth. Advantage on my attack roll.
You don't need to roll. You don't need to roll. You don't need to roll damage. As you drive this glaive into the Scarecrow, describe the scene for me.
As I do, I would like to have the glaive coming down hardcore. Once it drives in through the pumpkin actually became brittle from Danny's spell, and it shatters almost like Terminator. And the pieces chunk off and fall almost like Legos and shit as they splatter across, and pumpkin seeds would kind of fly out and would kind of just and stick to people all around us almost like something exploded. And I would be like, ugh, I hate that smell.
I'm not ready to die via pumpkin seed damage.
Yeah, right. No, that's shit. That's
So as you do this, the last of the Scarecrow kind of crumbles away, and as it does, you see this male figure, the spirit, rise up from it, and like the previous one, it says, "Thank you for setting us free," and he kind of wisps away.
Now, just so you know, one of the features of my character we discussed earlier is that when I kill something of this nature, it can't be corrupted in the same way as it was before.
Right.
So I don't know if that adds anything to this, but I just wanted to make
this is technically a construct. It's not an undead.
Okay. Cool, man.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay.
So with that, you're still in initiative order. So after Grace and Wilgrim, what are you going to do?
I'm going to look up and acknowledge these crows that seem to have came out of nowhere and seem to be flying around. And if I could, I know that some spells you could move from person to person with an additional bonus action, and I know some you can't. So this is just for flavor. This is nothing major here. Okay.
Yes, of course.
I've already used my action to make this stab. Okay. Is there any way to be able to move shield? No, you know what? I think just because of this, I need to keep it on Danny. As soon as I have an action to do so, I would like to lay hands on Wilgrim.
Okay.
And try to help him, but you just tell me when that will work for you.
Sure. Wilgrim, it is now your turn.
Wilgrim is going to look around and see what I see.
So as you look around, you see. Go ahead and make a perception check for me.
Can I have him advantage because I'm looking around as well since I didn't?
Of course.
I think I get advantage anyway, and I've missed that. My racial trait is hunter instincts. I get.
Oh yes, buddy.
Oh, never mind. That's proficiency in, not advantage. Okay. But yeah. I am still rolling with advantage though.
Yeah.
He's helping.
Yep. Whereas I'm looking around at the ravens, you're looking around at whatever else maybe.
Yeah.
So 14.
14. In the skeleton that was just not the skeleton, the scarecrow that was just destroyed. You see glinting off from the moonlight, whatever faint moonlight is piercing through the. You see what appears to be a kitchen knife, like a chef's knife, just on top of this now pile of broken splinters and ash and burnt hay.
He's going to go over and pick it up.
Okay. You can go ahead and add to your inventory a silvered knife.
Okay. What did we notice what the crows and ravens and things were doing? Did they seem to be acting strangely?
You did. They acted very strangely. In fact, two of them decide to fly down, and as soon as they do, they change. They shapeshift, and you see two imps now facing both of you.
Imps.
Raced. Yep.
Okay.
It is now your turn.
Me. All right, two imps?
Yep, two imps.
Oh. Do I know anything about imps?
Go ahead and make an Arcana check.
Yeah.
Okay. You know that there are certain wizards that are, especially of the conjuration, that can learn to summon fiendish creatures from the abyss, I believe. Yeah. You also know there are warlocks that can also have these as companions. So you would know that a silvered weapon might do a little more damage than regular weapons.
They're also creatures of the plane of fire, correct?
They are fiends. So I believe they're from I want to say they're from.
Do I know what element hurts them more? Probably radiant.
You would know that they're resistant to cold damage, but they are immune to poison and fire damage.
Alrighty. Well then, I am going to cast Chromatic Orb.
Okay.
And I am going to use.
It's a great spell.
I think I can use radiant damage with it. Acid, fire, no. Acid, cold, fire, lightning, poison, or thunder. I guess thunder or lightning.
Okay. Lightning.
Go with lightning. Okay. All right, so hit the cast button. So there's actually, let me look at this again. There's three twisting, whistling, hypoallergenic.
But you just cast
gluten-free.
magic missile.
Yeah, that's not
Yeah,
chromatic
orb is something different. It's a completely different spell.
Oh, okay, that's the wrong one. Well, that messed up.
That's okay.
Where did it go? That's the one I wanted.
Metagamer.
This is it. All right, so 14. There's 3 different ones, and I guess I have to roll for each one. 14.
Not on a chromatic orb. I think chromatic orb just has one target, correct?
Yeah, it's
Oh,
just
okay.
you just launch one.
Yeah.
All right,
Magic
I'll
missile
do
is the one that has 3 orbs of energy that hit the target.
Yeah.
So
All right.
yeah, so we'll go with your first roll of 14, which does hit. What type of damage are you trying to do to it?
Lightning.
Okay, go ahead and roll your damage. All right.
Yeah.
Within 1 hit. Hold on. You manage to electrocute, and the imp just and kind of just falls to the ground like twitching. And at that sight, the other imp kind of looks around, its eyes wide, and snaps its finger and disappears from existence.
Okay.
And you are out of combat.
At that point, Grayson would put his hand on his chest, and you'd see him slump a little bit. With that, there'd be a little bit of blood hitting the ground underneath his feet as the rain washes it away. As he turns, he's been injured pretty severely in that battle, and he looks to you, Raced, and he just kind of slowly lumbers back over to you. The spell ends as it fades away from you, and he takes a heavy breath as the steam rolls out from this cold area, and he says, "Are you all right?"
Not even a scratch.
That's
And as he says that, he
that's the
brings
way
his
it
hand
should
up
be.
over you and does prestidigitation and takes all the grime and stuff off of you.
Okay. I'm out. Okay.
Wilgrim, leaning heavily on his staff, we'll see that I blanked on his name. Brian.
Grayson, Greyson.
Yeah. So leaning heavily on his staff, he's gonna walk over and cast Cure Wounds on Grayson.
You're the man, because that's good. Roll those beautiful dice, man.
7 points of health.
Yeah.
Okay. So as
I'm
you
a real
guys are
boy.
kind of taking, as this guy, you guys are taking the time to recuperate from this battle, you notice that the cornfield has kind of in what seems to be like a really short amount of time, all the corn seem to have shriveled up and died. And in front of you is a clear view of the farmhouse that you guys were seeking shelter in.
I would like to go over and inspect the other one of these scarecrows that we seem to kill so abruptly. Once I saw Wilgrim pull that silver dagger out of the one, I like to go over and kind of take the edge of my halberd and kind of stir apart the hay and straw parts, looking for. And I'm familiar with this kind of work, these kind of possessed creatures and fiends. I'm looking for components or any kind of materials, almost like a witch-like implement might have been left in there. It would be the cause of just whatever you've got whatever you can come up with.
Make an investigation check.
Yes, sir. I will. I didn't even reach for dice that time. I got this. With a whole big +1. Come on, you vicious bastard, and a natural 1.
As you're rooting through it, I mean, you hacked that one up pretty good. You don't really see anything other than like straw and splinters of wood. You see what was once the remnants of some kind of apron or dress that was on it. Of the one that wasn't completely burned or charred.
I remember the female voice, and I make that connection. I would like to take a handful of that straw and tie it with a piece of that actual ruined dress and tie it up and make almost like a trinket out of it and
Sure.
keep it on my person.
Okay. You have a straw trinket.
Yes,
Gonna
I
add that to
do.
your other possessions.
I do.
What kind of weapon does Beta carry?
He has like a hand axe like on his hip, kind of like
Does he?
like a Viking would.
Did you find it?
So,
And he also
Yeah,
has
so it was right there in front of him. Colby found his
I'm
hand
fucking
axe.
around.
so as we are approaching the farmhouse, and Wilgrim kind of hobbles up to Beta, and he hands him the knife. I believe you'll get better use out of this than me.
I'm dying. He's holding the broom like a staff.
Did you just notice this? Dude, he's been role playing to the T's, man. It's been good. It's been good.
Props.
So,
Yes.
so Colby, go ahead and add a silver knife to your inventory.
Danny puts one beer down and his eyes are open. He's ready to see. That's awesome, buddy.
So, are you folks
Potion of
proceeding
true sight.
into the house?
I would have liked to have inspected that imp. I was kind of letting everybody go.
Okay.
The one that,
Go ahead.
The
Was
one that
there,
we actually got.
yeah. Anything on it? Any markings?
Go ahead and make either an Arcana or investigation check.
Oh, let's see which one I have a better plus through. Oh, they're the same.
It's gotta be better. Yes. You're the man.
What'd you get?
He got 20.
Funny. Oh, there's nothing in particular on this imp, but you know of imps in general. They sometimes serve more powerful entities. You get a feeling that, based on your observance of what they were doing previous to the battle, that you can conjecture that there was a kind of some kind of deal where the imps kept watch over this farmhouse in exchange for feasting on the souls of people that were lured into this cornfield.
He'll keep that to himself for now.
Okay.
Go ahead. I was going to say, I would stand at Ray's side and follow his lead at this point, getting back in my position. And I would mention to him under my breath, it's like, the feel of day healed me. I believe we can trust him.
He says, well, by all means, drop the act.
All right. Okay, that's all I got for now.
Okay. So you guys are making your way into the farmhouse. As you guys make your way into the farmhouse, the rain does start to subside. It is getting a little lighter out there. It's kind of slowed down to like a slow drizzle now. And as you look around, this house has been thoroughly abandoned. Cobwebs, dust-covered tables and chairs, and it's fairly small for a farmhouse. You don't conjecture that a big family lived in here. As you make your way through the house, go on and make either a perception or investigation check.
Danny, you do that for advantage since I'm always helping you out.
Bear with me. I'm still the idiot that takes a while to find it.
It's okay.
Alphabetical order, baby. You gotta love him. Alphabetical order. Yep.
17 on investigation, and Wilgrim is currently looking for a chair to sit in.
Oh, investigation. Sorry.
I like it.
Why did I do
Investigation or perception.
Yeah, either or. Yeah. Okay. Wilgrim, it's not too difficult. There are several chairs. There's actually there are several chairs located out. You find one that's it's dusty and dirty, but it's still it's sturdy enough to hold you if you want to have a sit.
And you guys would see Wilgrim put his staff down on the floor, and he'd lean like way back to sit down.
Before he sits down, Grayson would run over really quick. He'd be like, "Oh, just a minute." And he takes his glaive and he pokes at the chair. Does it react?
Yeah, it's got a little nick in it from where you poked it.
Nice. And he looks at it with this really ridiculous eyebrow and he says, "Could have been a mimic. I've seen a chair bite a person's leg off whole."
Yeah. So all you see is Wilgrim just staring at you.
Screenshot that.
You're safe. You're safe.
So, all right. So you find a chair. You're looking around, and Beta, did I get a perception check from you or an investigation from you? Did I get it? No, I didn't.
I think I am getting old. That actually hurt my knee a little bit.
No shit.
You take so all of you are taking your time, trying to find out what happened at this farm, as per the request of the owner of the tavern.
Yeah.
And you're looking around, and you go up to this is a 2-story house, and then you go up to the second level and you find a couple of bedrooms. One that looks like a master suite that maybe the parents used to live in, and one that looks like a small child's room. All manner of simple decor around there, bed, you've got a candle. A lot of the clothing has been eaten away or moth-eaten, or is just simply tattered over time. As one of you is investigating the parents' room, you see the same thing. You see a 4-post bed that has been just covered in dust and worn. And while looking through, you actually do find a journal. A journal, which kind of like is written in a woman's hand. It kind of details musings and thoughts that she had during her life. One note in particular talks about an argument that she had with her husband that seemed to keep repeating, and talks about the night that her daughter Sybil ran away. And then there's no other entries after that.
I have a quick question, if you don't mind.
Yes, go ahead.
When we were looking through the clothes, and once again, guys, I'm sorry. Sometimes I have these little things, and I do apologize if I'm interrupting. It's a bad habit, and I'm trying to get better at it. When I was noticing the clothes, and I make this connection between the two, the piece of clothing that I took off from this supposed dress, do I recognize a theme to these clothes? Maybe is there an empty spot in the closet? Something like that. Anything?
Yeah. There's definitely a lot of the same outfit. Like she had multiple copies of the same outfit because she just liked to wear the same thing.
Okay.
Definitely, there is one dress missing, and the fabric that you have attached to your little trinket does match at least 2 or 3 of the other dresses in the wardrobe. Yeah.
Thank you for that. Which one of us is the one that's actually reading the journal entry?
Whoever
wants to pick.
Yeah, whoever wants to be the one reading the journal entry, it's fine.
Say Wilgrim because he's the bookie.
Okay. So Wilgrim, you're reading about stuff like, oh, the harvest was good this year, or it was this, and and then you see this theme of growing problems between the couple, and then, like you said, the final entry was on the night that Sybil, their daughter, ran away, and then it's just blank after that.
Raced would sit down beside Wilgrim, and I notice you're a slinger of spells as well.
Not a very good one, but a speller nonetheless.
Maybe we should share books. Maybe we could learn something from each other. Because he's kind of interested after seeing you throw a fireball. Because that's a little beyond his reach right now.
Well, no, it's a fire. He threw a fire bolt.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
No.
Fireball would have been a different story.
Yeah, that would have been like, ooh.
And suddenly you're in an ignited cornfield.
Yes. I would toss down that piece of straw, that tuft of straw and dress, and I would throw that down beside the book as Wilgrim is reading this. And I would just give you a knowing look to see if you make the connection yourself.
It's odd to read. The farm seems successful. Wasn't up until the very end that things seem to start going awry.
That's how it usually works.
Colby, as they're all in the, I would say, the living room, you manage to make your way into the kitchen. And as you walk into the kitchen, you see two skeletons. One that seems to have a more or less intact, except for there's a smaller one relatively to the two of them that seems to have had its neck bones broken. And as you take your silvered knife, you notice that there is a notch in the front, in the sternum of the other bigger one. And your silver knife seems to fit perfectly into that notch, into the chest. Go ahead and make an insight check or a medicine check, Colby.
I get to choose which one.
Yeah, whichever one you want.
Of course, yeah.
I'm gonna do an insight because I'm proficient in that.
Hell yeah.
21.
You're looking over the bodies, you're looking over this knife that you found, and you're trying to reconstruct what possibly could have happened. You don't know the motive, but you feel that something came over the father, the husband, and he went to choke out his wife. And in the process, she stabbed him as he snapped her neck. And that's what happened the night Sybil ran away.
Hey guys, here in just a minute, can we take like a 5 or 10 minute break?
Yes, of course. We're going to go ahead and take a break now, and we'll come back in a bit to continue.
Awesome. Thank you, Sean. I've been
worries.
holding it for 15 minutes, man. It's all
No
good.
worries.
All right, guys, I'm going to pause. There you go.
And welcome back. So we just come back from break, and so as previously, the group had just taken down 2 scarecrows and an imp and are now investigating the Ovana farmhouse. So as I was saying before we got cut off, Colby, you can make a conjecture based off the positioning of the skeletons and the physical damage you see to the skeletons that something happened that caused this husband and wife to turn on each other. And do with that information what you will.
The Warforged have secrets.
Can I see if I'm able to find something like maybe in the room that could probably
Yes, go ahead and make another investigation check or perception. Yeah, investigation check.
Total of 20.
20. As you look around, you see on some of the clothing that the skeleton still has on, there's a pocket in an apron. And as you look in the pocket of the apron, you pull out a gold keychain. It's a little tarnished, or I should say a silver keychain, actually. It's a silver keychain with kind of a locket on the end, and it's tarnished over time. As you look it over, you see on the back is inscribed for Sybil. And as you pop it open, you see that there are 2 kind of, what's that word I'm looking for?
Conjoined?
No. There are 2. There are 2 sketches of what you assume is what their mom and dad looked like.
Oh, wow.
For all sketches. That's pretty much all you find. Everything else in the, you see, kitchen paraphernalia, you get pots, pans, but they're either rusted, covered in dust, just old, worn out. Nothing of real value in the house.
Okay. I think I'll go try and find the others.
Okay, simple enough. The kitchen is just off the living room, so you find them.
From what I recall of the knife, after having it and pulling it out of that scarecrow, did it look just like a regular kitchen utensil, or was it like a more ornate weapon style knife?
It looked like a regular, like a chef's knife. There was some kind of intricacy designed into the knife, which you would assume is from the silvering process to turn a regular knife into a silver knife. You don't know if this was maybe a wedding gift, or if this was something they just had, or if it was a family heirloom passed down. But the silvering in the knife is what makes the intricate detail on the blade of the knife.
Okay.
And just so you know, currently, Wilgrim, I would be standing over your shoulder as you're kind of reading this out loud. And after I threw that down, I'd be waiting just for whatever input you might have, if you're able to connect the dots. And whatever you say in your narrative, you have Grayson's attention. I just want to say that moving forward, okay?
Yeah. So as he's reading through it, he would acknowledge, like a little bit earlier, about how everything seemed to be going good with the farm. It was successful, and basically everything that they've been told up to this point is confirmed by what's in the diary. They were, a fight somewhat broke out, and Sybil decided to leave. What was the last part of it about Sybil leaving?
It was just, we haven't seen Sybil left to go to the market today, and then it's like later in the day, Sybil hasn't returned yet, and it's like that, it's dinner time and she hasn't come back, and then it's something like, husband is starting to grumble. You see kind of like this, you kind of get a sense that there's this aura of darkness that just kind of fell over the house, that it was gradually consuming the house as you get through the musings of her writing. That something or someone maybe placed a curse on them, or something happened that,
Seems towards the last entry, she speaks of the husband seeming to not be himself.
Grayson would lean in and speak in a much more lighter tone, as if he's letting the charade fall. React this however you would, Wilgrim. This would be very blatant, so you would notice it instead of a perception check. As he leans in, you see at the skin on his arms, that gray color, is also around his face. And for the first time, you've got a decent look at his eyes, as he is within a foot or two of you, as he's looking over your shoulder at the book. Protruding tusks from the bottom jaw. And you can see the definition of what may be two spiraled horns that may stick out of the back of his head. You would have thought maybe he were a large half-orc, but he seems to be a little different. And his eyes have a bright yellow coloring to them. As he looks in, as he speaks, they almost fluctuate, almost like a sensor light, like something that is voice activated. The higher his voice becomes, the more these eyes seem to radiate. Almost like, and I could compare it to like a walkie-talkie, where when the signal's coming through strong, the light gets brighter. It's strangely like that. And he says to you, I am familiar with things of this nature. I should talk to Raston. Check about the house for signs of this, for this arcane trickery. Sometimes when such curses are laid down, remnants of that dark ritual left. He just gives you a knowing nod. And he stands up and turns and begins, because I know that Colby's character went upstairs. I'm going to begin searching around downstairs.
Oh, no. Colby's character went into the kitchen, which is on the same floor.
Okay, well then I would like to go upstairs.
Yeah, that's where you, I think that's where you found the journal was upstairs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm
No
losing
worries.
track where I am.
That is okay. That is okay.
I would like to go into an orifice of the house that I have not yet been.
Okay.
Okay. And look around.
So upstairs, there's, like you said, the master bedroom. There's Sybil's room. There's some kind of a washroom as well. It's very basic. There's not really much in terms of rooms there. It's just, you've got the washroom upstairs, the master bedroom, Sybil's room, maybe a closet at the end of the hall for like linens and all that stuff. And then there's downstairs, there's just the living room, and then there's a partition to go into the kitchen.
Okay.
I would actually like.
Oh, go ahead, Danny. I'm sorry.
I would actually, with that being said, I'd like to go into Sybil's room and look around.
Okay.
And I would actually motion for Grayson to come as well, because I know he has some very good senses that I may need.
I do. And just to know, I want to mention 3 things.
Sure.
That he would be looking for outright, and then I'll shut up.
Okay.
1, I would look for symbols and things that were left behind places that these people spend a lot of time in, whether it be a study or a bathtub or a bed. I would look for remnants of sigils. I would also look around windows and things, since there's a lot of dust and cobwebs and things on this place. I would like to look to see if there's any sign of fiends and things entering and exiting this place through a means. Those are the 3 or 4 main things I would be looking for as I go through.
Sure. Okay. As you're looking around, make an investigation check or a perception check.
I'll do perception, and that's one thing. I'm not the best book smart, but I do know how to pick up on these kind of things, and I have a really decent perception here. I have a +4 to it.
So say in the meantime of them checking out the upstairs, Wilgrim's going to shuffle around downstairs and just kind of tap his staff on the floor every few steps.
Okay.
Nice. Do I have advantage on that since Danny is helping me, or is he not?
Danny, are you helping him?
Yeah, and while he's looking at that, what I'm actually looking for in that room, specifically, I'm looking to see, like in her closet, did she take all of her clothes? Like, did she actually plan to leave and not come back?
Okay.
Looking
because you guys are looking for separate things, I have you both do separate investigation checks.
My first one was a 15.
Okay, that's fine.
So
that's fine.
Okay. 16 for investigation.
All right, and I need a perception check from Wilgrim. Okay.
Bam!
No worries. So for Grayson and Race, as you guys are looking around Sybil's room, it's very like this person was probably in her teens when she ran away from home. But it doesn't look like she was planning on running away from home. It looks, based off the what you heard from the tavern owner and from what you're seeing around, you'd figure that Sybil just wanted to escape that one night. So she didn't want to be around the ever-increasing arguments that were happening. Because there's still signs of the clothes that are in there. As far as what Grayson is looking for, there are signs of fiends coming in and out. You just see faint traces of like their aura or energy. But more so than that, after the deed happened is when these imps started coming in and out to collect souls. After the place was corrupted, that they stayed lingered to collect souls. Pilgrim, as you're walking around, you do eventually banging your staff on the floor lightly, not like you're trying to drive a hole into it. You do eventually hear the floorboards hollow out, and you come across seems to be a trapdoor under one of the carpets in the living room.
With that, he'd holler out to Beta. Said, Warforged, come give me a hand with this.
I'll basically enter the room where Ulran is and try to help them out.
Okay, so it's pretty simple. It's not heavy. It's not locked. So you happen to open this trapdoor, and it does lead to a staircase that kind of goes down into a darkened basement. This family did not have central lighting or electrical lighting, so there are a few gas lamps that are in the house itself, and there are also candles that are available if you need to for a light source.
With 60 foot of dark vision, am I able to see anything of note from where I am?
You can just see that there's stairs, and as you're going down, you see that the bottom of the basement, and you see kind of like shelving with stuff on it, because you're just seeing in dark vision. You're seeing kind of like in gray shades of gray. So nothing. You can still see in the dark there if you want to go down. If you don't need light.
But the ladder looks like it's in good enough shape. It's not rotting out or anything like
Yeah,
that.
there's the staircase going down these things. Yeah.
And he would holler up at Grayson and Raced. I found something.
You hear that echoing from the first floor.
With that, I would look down to Raced. And I would try to scribe down some notes in a small faded book that I carry about my findings, about what they've came in and out, the time, the things that we've discussed, as I'm actually writing down notes as you're saying, guys.
Right,
so if I seem like I'm not paying attention, I'm writing down in my notebook. With that, I would look at Danny and shake the book with a knowing look. Raced, sorry. I'd put that away, and I would head towards Wilgrim's voice, and I would say to Raced as I would pass and descend first down the steps, possibly, we need to be careful as to what we touch in this place. There are clues everywhere.
Yes. It appears that whatever the curse is came after. Maybe as part of where they were killed.
And now that souls have been killed and led to rest again, I'd say they come back to finish what they've started. Stay close to me.
We're gonna have to find the girl to get a deeper understanding.
Beta, did you find any beef in the kitchen?
Nice. I head down the stair, down there to talk to him. Yeah.
Did I find beef in the kitchen?
You did, and it was fairly rotted. You found what looked like to be beef jerky, but you don't know if that was beef or something else.
Infernal jerky. I'm buying that shit.
All right, so are you guys making your way down into the basement area?
Yes, I am.
Yes.
Okay, so who of you does not have dark vision? Do you all have dark vision?
I do not.
Okay, Beta does not have dark vision. So are you taking a light source down there, or?
Yeah, I got a torch.
Okay, cool. So you go down there, and the basement is about as big as the living room section. It's not that big, but it seems to have been used for storage of materials in case of, natural disaster like a tornado or anything like that. However, Grayson, you do look around, and you see faint traces of sigils and what appears to be some kind of summoning circle. Race would pick up on this too.
Oh, okay. So who
There's some
walked?
kind of summon.
I don't mean to back you up. I'm sorry. Who walked down the stairs first? Because that's a big fuck deal.
Whoever wants to take the charge.
Are we saying that the Warforged beta did? Because this is the part in the scary movie where it's like, who's going down to the basement first? We need a marching order.
Yeah, what's your marching order?
I
would
Ray's
decide that.
definitely not going to be the first one down the steps because that's a.
Yeah, I would volunteer because that's kind of my gig.
Okay.
If no one was already doing it, because I'm not a rude person. I don't know these folks.
Ulran's
So if
mostly blonde, so he's not doing it. What happens to blondes in scary movies?
So Beta, were you heading down first with your light source, or were you kind of with everyone else and kind of like Shaggy, like, I don't know who's going first, Zoinks?
Well,
Yeah.
probably since my character might have not doesn't really know you guys, he probably doesn't know that you have dark vision, so he probably goes down first since he has source of light on him.
So what that does is that adds theatrics to this. So as you're
Right.
going down first, Beta, you would feel a large, heavy hand on your right shoulder as you get down to the bottom step and your feet first touch the downstairs. As Grayson's voice, lighter, not so monstrous and menacing now, whispers over your right shoulder. It's like, this part of the room has been marked. Be careful where you tread. There are runes everywhere.
As we're looking, is that circle complete? Is it still an active spell?
As you guys are looking, Braced and Grayson, go ahead and give me Arcana checks.
Yes, sir.
And
What-
Grayson, since this is your specialty, I will give you advantage on this.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And this was a
Oh, it's
Perception?
Arcana, sorry.
or
Arcana.
what? Arcana.
Arcana. Mhm.
Okay.
I have no idea why I hit perception first, but yeah, Arcana is
That's okay.
21.
Gotcha.
So my proficiency bonus is a 2. It doesn't have it added in here because it's one of my selected things when I move on.
Okay.
So whatever this is +2. Okay, good, because the first bet was a 4. Let's try again, Mr. Specialist here. And the second one was an 8. So not worth a shit on either account. So
That is okay. That's okay. You are familiar with this kind of activity, so the DC was a lot lower for you folks.
I'll talk.
So you're looking for you specific, Grayson. You notice that there are sigils that relate to possession. There are sigils that relate to the summoning of spirits here. Whereas Race, you get the impression that the magic that was once flowed through these rooms and this summoning circle is now gone. It's simply just left over, as in whatever was summoned has either done its job or has been vanquished and no longer is there. As you continue exploring, you see a shadowy entity pull up into a corner and then disappear.
As that
Do
happens,
I think,
go ahead.
oh, sorry.
No,
Right.
go ahead, please.
Actually, before that even came up, he would have been wondering if he could bring that thing back forward and question it, if that circle would seal it, if he could figure that out.
Go ahead and make an Arcana check for me.
16.
16. You know that right now you might not have the ability to do that yourself, but there are magics out there that can call forth spirits and entities to answer questions and to that know things that have gone on in certain places. Right now, you don't think you have the capabilities for it, or it's a certain spell that you need to learn or find someone that has it. But what you do know from the intricacy of the designs and from the amount of the strength of the entity that came forward, that could have been some of the circle, that this is magic far beyond the tongues of a 12-year-old. Someone else or something else caused this to happen. But what you just at this point you can't tell.
Was a husband and wife to fight in such a manner? Was there a visitor?
I say to him in a hushed tone, I believe I may have seen something. Stay close to me. He looks over in the distance, and as he does, you would hear the sounds of cracking and like stone shifting in a way. And as he comes down off the last step, you can hear the steps give way and creak a little bit as I've became physically heavier and more rigid, as I have used one of my daily uses of the stone skin. And as I walk forward, a heavy hand, Beta, once again, comes over to you. And I cast protection from good and evil on top of you, Colby. So if you have a chance to look up what that spell does, it's good stuff. And you have that on you since you are first into this place. Okay? Now it's just my said actions. I would like to step off and walk carefully around this circle, holding my glaive towards the shadow in which I believe I may have seen something.
Okay. As you walk that way and you see the faint flick of the light from Colby's thing start to illuminate around the corner, a cat jumps out and knocks over a few things and scurries up past the stairway.
Can I roll a composure check to not shit my pants?
Yes, go ahead.
Gargoyles can shit themselves. It's a fact.
The cat just goes
So what would you like me to do? Is charisma?
Constitution saving throw. Actually, no,
Constitution.
wisdom saving throw. Wisdom saving throw.
Wisdom. Okay. Let's just do straight wisdom. Well, I don't need that. I just need to roll the roll. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Natural one.
You piss yourself.
Yeah. Part of the circle is washed away by gargoylish urine as it happens. So I audibly leak a bit. I leak a bit.
Yeah. As the black cat kind of just runs out of up the stairs and out of the house. As far as that is concerned, there's nothing else down here. Nothing else down here.
Well, that spell slot was nicely done for theatrics. Woo! That was a waste. Swing and a miss. So, with that, I'm curious as to what everyone's reaction is to not only the largest person down here. It's almost like the elephant being afraid of the mouse in D&D terms. Little tinkle down the leg, the glaive drawn, casting spells, getting ready to go all hard, and then the black cat comes out of the corner. Meow. And then I'm out, and you guys react how you want to, bud.
By this time, those who are still upstairs, I think Ulran is still upstairs, everybody's still upstairs. You guys would have, or wherever was last, the rain would have stopped by now. So
we start up the steps. He goes, "There's a bigger cat waiting upstairs."
Shame check. No, I don't know. I don't know what that is.
It was a tense moment. It was a tense moment. It's okay. You can react.
No, it's fantastic. I love it. I would audibly groan. And that would be all you'd get from me, raced, you bastard.
All right. So as far as the house, there's really nothing else of interest in the house. Nothing really of value. Do you guys want to stay here for the night? Do you guys want to head back to town?
I would like to
burn the cornfield.
I would like to compare. Yeah, I want to go back and play. I want to compare notes of everybody in the group, and see what we're all thinking.
Go ahead.
So, from that, I would like to talk to Ulran and say, what was the name of that girl that sent us in here to begin with again? The local we met. Do you remember?
You never actually asked her name.
Okay. And
But you do know-
that's
but you
what
do
and
know-
that's why. That's why.
Yeah. Nobody actually asked her name, but you do know that she had you investigate this house on behalf of a woman named Sybil.
Okay. So I remember that. And I'm looking over at Wilgrim, and I'm looking at
Cybil. Yeah.
Okay.
But and the little girl's name was Cecilia.
Sybil. It was Sybil. You're investigating this house on behalf of Sybil. Yeah.
So let's just, instead of going through all that,
Yeah.
we understand that Sybil was who on behalf, and that sounds to be the name of the child we said.
Yeah.
From the book that Wilgrim read. And the whole overall purpose, I want to make sure we're all clear and on the same page, Sean, was that we are here to investigate what happened or to bring back some kind of proof.
To investigate what happened. Investigate what happened and bring back anything you can find.
Okay. So as far as what we can find, I would point out that I hold up that token of the straw in the dress. I would point to Beta and say, you have that knife. That is a piece of this puzzle.
I also have a golden chain with.
He looks at you curiously.
What was on that chain?
It was a silver locket that's tarnished, and it has on the back inscribed "For Sybil," and then inside is a relief. That's what I was saying. Is a cameo of both her mother and father on two sides of the locket.
I would say to Raced, do we have more work to do here before we leave, Raced? It seemed there are things here unfinished, although I don't know how we'd find them.
I think perhaps we should speak with Sybil.
Agreed. So, instead of staying, not Sybil, but the person that sent us on the quest. That's what Sean's getting ready to say, I think.
Yeah.
Sybil is a part of this. So, he would say to you, so instead of staying here, maybe stay back at the town. Talk about what we found and see if there's more to do. Is that what you're saying?
He nods and starts towards the door. He looks around, though, to see if there's anything to shed the rain other than his cloak or using
the rain has stopped at this point.
Okay.
As I dimmed it down on YouTube as well. DJ Brian. All right. So looking at Wilgrim, I would look with a question mark type nod. Like as Raced boldly decides to go ahead and head towards the door as we're having this kind of quiet conversation in this place. Listening for the slightest pin drop. Who knows how many black cats are in this fucker. And looking around to your Field of Day character as far as I'm concerned. What do you think?
Do I recall seeing anything besides this home in the field? Was there any?
No, it got to a point where this was like a standalone farm, like on its own.
It might be our best bet.
Okay.
Go back and speak to them.
It seems to be.
There's more to this than what we've seen.
I would look over lastly to Beta, and I would say to him, are you in agreement with this? What do you think?
I think we should definitely have a chat with this.
All right, Rice. Let's head out then. Maybe we'll get to come back here and fix this the way we do. And he gives you a wink. Okay, so with that, Sean, go ahead, buddy.
Okay, so wrapping things up at the farmhouse, you guys eventually make your way back to the Cow and Scales Tavern. Seeing you walk in, the barmaid, which I'll tell you her name now.
Yes.
Telyma. She's
Spell
a little
that,
older
please.
now.
I'm sorry. Spell that for me, please.
Telyma.
Nice, thank you.
Telyma looks at you The tavern's pretty empty at this point as people have gone away, and she kind of nods and comes up to the tavern doors and closes it. She's like, so I assume your investigation went well?
And I don't say much when we're dealing with direct people. Race, you know that. At this point, we're around other people. Yeah. I'm in character. You're the man, okay?
He takes a sip of his liquid and he says, "Hey, we've checked high and low in there, and I believe what we have found is the parents killed each other in a spat, and something has come in after and used that trauma, cursed the place."
I would nudge him and hand him that tuft of straw and dress.
I see. If you four will follow me, please. There's someone I'd like you to meet. And she takes you guys upstairs to a second floor to one of the rooms that she has. As she opens the door, you see a 30-something-year-old woman who looks just sleep-deprived and worn, a little worse for her age. I mean, she's in her mid-30s, but she looks older from just years of stress. And she sits in a rocking chair next to a fire, and she's walking back and forth. This is Sybil, the daughter of the people that you found in the house. If you want, you can talk with her and tell her what you found. If anything, to get her past this trauma in her life.
Ulran will step forward and he'll lean on his staff and he'll pull out that diary and he'll slowly hand it to her. My condolences for your loss, my dear.
She kind of looks up and she looks at you, but she has a very far off look in her eyes, kind of that 1,000-yard stare. And as she looks down, she holds it and she opens it and she looks through it and she ponders over her mother's handwriting. She closes it and she holds it closely.
Ask for Race.
No shit.
Yeah.
Bash just comes out of nowhere with a fucking Terran and just stabs it.
Him and Silhouette, yeah, they're sneaky.
Yeah. Race kneels down and he says to her, "Was there another at your home that night that you left?"
She just shakes her head.
I'm
She
watching
really
the room
speak.
the whole time because I know that these kind of demons and this kind of possession, this kind of shit likes to follow.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole time I'm not looking at her and I'm letting him do the talking. I'm watching the room in the doorway, almost like just like I'm waiting for the black cat to jump out, sir.
Right.
Okay.
Make a perception check for me.
He continues. He would continue to ask, trying to find out if anybody had visited the house weeks before, if they had any strange people.
Go ahead and make an insight check. Great. And Brian, yeah, you make either a perception or a religion check.
Oh, Brian already did, and it ain't worth 2 fucks. I got an 8.
Okay.
I got a 7.
Okay.
We are awesome.
You're trying to press Race. You try to press Sybil for answers to certain questions, and she's not giving out much more detail as she has lost her will to speak about the experience that because what you have learned from Telima is that the next day she went back to her house and found her parents like that, and she fled back and hasn't spoken about it since. As far as Brian, so you don't see any kind of entity, but you do notice that there are possibly maybe a few religious symbols that are present in the room, though for what particular religion you can't tell.
Okay. Different land, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. I would hold my guard, looking like I'm really deeply looking, but knowing that my role sucks. But yeah, just kind of maintain and listening to what's going on.
Intent, yeah, the intent is there, but it's you don't see any traces of you, but yeah.
Sweet.
Did your mother or father dabble in the arcane?
She just shakes her head. She just basically she gives you yes no answers by just shaking or nodding her head. In terms of her parents being dabbling in arcane or anything like that, there's no answers. In terms of her having any knowledge of the arcane is no. They don't know of anybody that might have held a grudge against them. So she doesn't really know how it got to that point.
Forgive me for prying, my dear.
Mm-hmm.
Who did your family pray to for luck with the farm, for its success?
She looks like she wants to answer, but Telma steps in and says, well, usually most people in this land don't really pray to anyone. It usually never works. There is one overarching god, though. We usually pray to Ezra, who knows Ezra is kind of a catch-all god. Ezra is the god of the mists in these lands, but he's also been known to help farmers and raise and for protection. In fact, and she points over to a religious symbol on the wall, the one that Grayson saw. In fact, that shield in belladonna is a symbol of Ezra. And
would I be familiar with Ezra?
Make a religion check.
$18.
You have no clue who Ezra is.
Is Ezra known to be a wrathful god as well?
Well, not in this village. I'm no religion expert myself, and I pray to Ezra for protection and safety. But there are some cults that might see him or her or Ezra as a malignant god. It's more that he represents... In representing everything, he represents nothing. It's kind of an enigma, but prayers to him do seem to work. Yeah.
And Wilgrim will step back and think to himself for a time.
Okay.
As Wilgrim steps back, I will approach forward, and she's like sitting on the bed.
No, she's sitting on a rocking chair by like a fireplace.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll approach her and like get on a knee and like pull out the chain and like what seemed to be maybe her mother's knife, silver knife, and like hand it to her.
As you pull out the chain and lock it, her eyes kind of brighten a little bit as if she hasn't seen that since forever. And she immediately clutches it and she looks at it and she, puts her finger over it and she looks at the parents and you can see she starts crying as she holds it close to her. As for the knife, she kind of motions for you to keep it.
Still not speaking the whole time, right?
Yes, yeah, still not speaking the whole time.
Okay.
I think Thelma pipes up and says, I think this has been enough for her this evening. Thank you for all that you've done for her. If you want, I can meet you downstairs and I can give you your money. I'll be downstairs if you need me.
Before we all walk out of the room, I would like to go up to her and I would stand before her as Grayson does, awkwardly close, looking down on top of her. And I would say to her in a very silent voice, And he's like, if you want, I can stand watch outside the door overnight to give you peace of mind, if not, but for just this one time. Rest easy.
She places. Go ahead. Go ahead.
And
Continue.
he just nods and wants to know if that'd be something she'd want him to do.
She places a hand on your head and kind of gives you this smile, like, it's okay, you don't have to. I'll be fine.
He nods slowly and reluctantly and turns to follow the rest of the group out.
Okay. All right, so you guys make your way downstairs, and Thelma is there counting out the coins, and she has 10 gold for each of you. And she says, once again, thank you very much. This has been a long time coming for her, and I just want to help her move on. Maybe one day she'll have the strength to go back to her house and rebuild.
As you mention, go back to that house, my character looks at Raced with a little bit of discouragement across his face for just a minute. And he looks down at the coin, and it's almost like he's fighting himself emotionally, and he takes one of the gold, and he hands back, and he says, to the rebuilding of her home. It's not fit to live in the way it is now. Hope you can find use for that.
Tell me, Grace, you play his apps.
Grace goes and shh with that voice that he does in characters, and surely with such a generous act from a marvelous hero such as he, maybe you could give us lodging for the night in exchange for the protection of one so mighty as Grayson.
Make a persuasion check.
I would swell up a little bit and kind of hold my glaive almost like one of those sentinels and kind of look around and kind of swell my chest up a little bit and stuff.
You gotta be shitting me. 6.
Oh, does he have advantage because I'm trying to put on this persona?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, Sean.
Give him an advantage.
Come on, Danny, don't suck.
12. God.
That's a 10 pull something off.
Well, she looks, Tellima looks at you all, kind of smiles and says, I already have rooms made for you upstairs. And she hands you each a key to a single room where you can rest for the night. You guys want to take a long rest for the night?
Yeah.
Okay. You guys take a long... Go ahead. You want to say?
No, the way I would do a long rest, it'd be a little bit strange. Raced knows very well how I do this. Okay. And I would I could affix myself either down here by the main entrance of this, which is kind of what I'm asking you. I would be at Race and be like, the main entrance or the room. And you know that I petrify myself and stand guard in this almost like trance-like state with my passive perception as my beacon. And that's how Grayson rests.
He says, with me.
He looks at you and nods, and he looks at the other two, trusting but not sure because of this call. Is it assumed that we're all 4 staying in the same room or separate rooms?
You guys had keys to each of your own separate rooms. So if you guys want to bunk up in one, you guys want to pair off or have your own separate, that's entirely up to you.
What would you say, Wilgrim?
I said, woo, sleepover.
Okay, so if that's the case, then he would position himself beside the doorway upstairs in the one room that everyone's staying in, be a part of conversation for as long as it happens, but then go into that stage of himself. But Race, understand, it may take some explanation on your part. This would seem strange behavior for me to just do this, so, it's the first time we've really explored this. So tell what you want, be as subtle as you want, lie to him if you want. It's all good.
So as we come into the room, Race looks around and once again talking without that charm that he had downstairs, and he says, "As you've probably noticed, I can be a bit of a salesman for his services, but Grayson is as much of an act as I am. I feel like we're gonna have to have some trust here. He'll guard the door, but I think you should meet him as he is." And he nods to you.
I would look at Wilgrim and I would look at Beta, and I would see if they seem interested in this or if they're just kind of to their own devices at this moment. I'm not trying to force an issue, but if Raced has been able to gain an audience with them, I wouldn't mind having a moment. How are you guys reacting?
So do you guys want
At this
to?
point, if there's a bed, Wilgrim is laying in it. He's got a CPAP on.
Smells like Ben Gay in here.
He's out for the night. But before we headed upstairs, when he left the room to go upstairs, he would have left the 10 gold sitting on the table and just went on his way.
Nice. What about you, Beta?
I would say Beta will be getting ready to enter into his sentry's rest.
Okay.
Okay.
Awesome. We don't ever have to take shifts on long rest.
Yeah.
You're welcome. You're welcome, fuckers. You're welcome. So,
Well, technically, mine doesn't need rest.
Point made. Point made. I would start backing myself up against the wall beside the door. I would put the glaive in the fold of my arm, and I would take my head and my hood and I would pull it back. Now that he's fully exposed, he has charcoal gray skin that seems to have a glisten of some kind of mineral to it. But it is flesh at this point. And he has these horns that look to be of a black onyx with a sheen on them, as if they're made out of just onyx rock, that seem to twist and come out of the back of his head. A mane of black hair goes down from the center, down the back of his neck, and goes into a long fold outside of this large, oversized poncho-like cloak that he wears, tied at the waist, which I would even say is almost primitively. Okay? As he looks at all of you, he would say in that much cleaner, not monstrosity-like voice, he'd say, "I've been a protector for longer than I can recall." And he goes, "Although I slumber, I still hear and feel what is around me. Rest easy tonight." And as he goes back, he closes his eyes slowly. And as he does, you can hear the sound of shifting stone and wood being wrenched. And all of a sudden you can see a sheen goes over top of him, and Grayson becomes what would appear to be a statuesque form, standing dormant against the inside wall of the door, beside the door. And I'm out. So passive perception, no more role play for me until something happen, and continue race, explain what you want to, and that's what you would see in front of you. I don't know that either one of you would have ever witnessed something to this degree or not before.
As he starts to do that, I do sleight of hand to make it look like I'm putting a spell on him.
Okay, give me a sleight of hand check.
Clever. Nice.
All right.
Okay.
Seems believable. I would say Wilgrim and Colby chuck this off as they're from a different place, so their magic might work differently.
Does the tavern need to make a constitution save to be able to hold up the weight of the new gargoyle? Or?
No, it's fine.
Fair play. Fair play. You hear.
Yeah, it's fine. It's sturdy. It's sturdy wood. It's good to go.
Dude, if I go through the floor downstairs, that's epic. I'm just saying, it's a win-win here. It's a win-win.
So
are you guys all
wake up and their beds are on the first floor because the floor.
Money pit.
So are you guys all taking your long rest?
Absolutely.
Please.
All right, so everybody go ahead and mark a long rest. You get everything back, health back up, and everything like that.
Yeah.
And we're going to go ahead and continue with the next day. Don't worry, we'll almost be finished. We'll almost finish.
You're all good.
All right. So as you take your night's rest, as the events of the previous day play out in dream, a scarecrow on fire, the cawing of the raven, the black cat shooting out of the corner, all that good stuff. You wake up to the sounds of breakfast being made, feet passing downstairs.
Where do you mark a long rest at?
So you go to your character sheet, and then you go to your character. It should be
portrait.
You could do it there. There's also up at the top along the character's portrait, there should be share short rest, long rest, and then the campaign you're in. Yeah.
And did you say it sounds like is there people around? Is this a regular?
Yes, it sounds like there's some foot traffic going on that's a little busier downstairs. You hear the clanging of pots, and you smell, sausages and other breakfast smells coming up, and bacon, and this seems to be the spot to go to in the morning for your breakfast before you head to work.
Awesome.
You guys head downstairs?
Yes.
As you guys head downstairs, Telima actually motions you folks over to a table and sets it down where she has some food brought out for you. It's kind of a continued thank you for your help. As you guys are sitting there eating, a young man bursts through the door. He runs up to Telma and whispers in her ear something. She looks confused and then points over into your table's direction.
With perception, with elven hearing, can I hear that?
Give me a perception check.
17.
17. You get faint whispers what he's saying, something about a letter and something about some letters, and you hear your name, you hear Grayson's name, you hear Beta's name, and so she points over to him. So the young man comes up and he looks to have like a little messenger pack. And he goes, excuse me, is your name Raced?
It is.
Okay, and are you Beta?
Yes.
I'm assuming you're Wilgrim and Grayson?
I look down at Race for confirmation that is my name. It's me. I am Grayson.
I've got these letters for you. I don't know who dropped them off, but they each have your names on them.
I would immediately hold my hand over top of Ray's shoulder, because I don't let documents touch him before they touch me. And he just kind of big hand, it's like, shum. Like before, he always does that.
Mm-hmm.
Staring at the person intently.
He looks at all of you expectantly.
I would grasp them and look at them for a minute and smell them. Locking my eyes on the person that brought them, and I would...
It smells oddly of... It has a floral scent to these things.
I'm guessing he's kind of waiting on a tip.
Make an insight check.
I was just about to ask, did we decide on a starting goal?
15.
15. Yes, it is customary to tip the post boy.
Oh man, because of his charlatan background, he's actually going to say it real fast using sleight of hand and everything. And well, I've only got a gold, and he does the sleight of hand trick to where he actually comes out of head making change on him with a 22.
Okay. Yeah. You do your set, and he thinks he got a whole gold, but who knows what he got? And he looks at Beta expectantly.
I'll give him 2 gold.
Ooh,
2 gold.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. And he looks over at Wilgrim expectantly.
Did we settle upon a starting gold?
Yeah, he said 15, I think, right?
No. Whatever starting gold you got is whatever you had. You did get 10 gold from or you gave yours up. So I think you had a decent amount of gold already.
Yeah, I went with gold instead of starting equipment because I wanted to pick my own starting equipment.
Yeah. I started off with a pouch of 10 gold. So yeah, he'll give him. He's got silver, so no, never mind. Yeah, I got 10 gold, so I'll give him 1.
Okay, thank you, sir. And he looks at Grayson.
I just
I've
stare at
already
him.
paid for the both of us.
I stare at him with a confused look. And I say to him,
all right, then.
They don't pay a mailbox to catch the mail.
Okay. He's already happy that Beta gave him 2 gold.
Fucking guarantee is, dude.
He made it more than what he thought.
Yeah,
so he happily goes off. And so as you guys are looking over the envelopes, they're in this very, very expensive looking card stock. It's a deep purple, and on the top of the envelope it just says to Mr. and then your respective names. So to Mr. Grayson in very fine silver inked calligraphy. So it says, one says to Mr. Grayson, it says to Mr. Wilgrim, to Mr. Beta, and to Mr. Raced. And on the back, you look over, there's a black ribbon that seems to have been bound over it. And on the seal is a black wax seal, and inside is a silver lamppost insignia. And that's where we're going to go ahead and end today's session.
Nice, buddy. Nice. I wonder what we're doing next time. That's cool. Well, thank you, Sean. That was awesome, buddy.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. And what are we thinking? I mean, I like this characters, I like the chemistry and stuff like that. We want to beg Sean to do this again for us some point here.
Oh yeah.
There it is. There it is.
Okay.
Awesome. Gotta find out where it goes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. That time flew by. That time.
By the way, you guys are all now at level 3. So.
Bam! Dude, I tell you, and I hope you got a kick out of our Facebook conversation where I'm like, you know what you might want to do. I thought that was funny, and you gave me that wink. That was awesome.
Yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and say goodbye to you all today, and then we'll pick up next time on the Tales from the Mist. Bye bye now.
Nice.
Later.
Thanks, everybody.